Wisdom shines in talks with Sri Ramana Maharshi. My comments bring this profound wisdom into your experience. I'm Richard. Welcome. I'm reviewing and commenting on the book Talks with Sri Ramana Maharshi. Today is Talk 204, Part 2. Ramana Maharshi. The word vijnana, clear knowledge, is used both to denote the realization of the self and the knowing of objects. The self is wisdom. It functions in two ways. When associated with the ego, the knowledge is objective, vijnana. When divested of the ego and the universal self is realized, it's also called vijnana. The word raises a mental concept. Therefore, we say that the self-realized sage knows his mind, but his mind is pure. Again, we say that the vibrating mind is impure and the placid mind is pure. The pure mind is itself Brahman. Therefore, it follows that Brahman is not other than the mind of the sage. The Mundakya Upanishad says, the knower of Brahman becomes the self of Brahman. Is it not ludicrous to know him and become him? They are mere words. The sage is Brahman, that is all. Mental functioning is necessary to communicate his experience. He is said to be contemplating the unbroken expanse. The Creator, Sukha, and others are also said never to swerve from such contemplation. Do not remain for half an instant without the thought of Brahman, it says in the Tejobindu Upanishad. Such contemplation is again a mere word. How is that to be contemplated unless it is divided into the contemplator and the contemplated? When undivided, how is contemplation possible? What function can infinity have? Do we say that a river, after its discharge into the ocean, has become an ocean-like river? Why should we then speak of contemplation which has become unbroken and being as that of unbroken infinity? The statement must be understood in the spirit in which it is made. It signifies the merging into the infinite. Self-illumination or self-realization is similar to it. The self is always shining. What does this I illumination mean then? The expression is an implied admission of mind function. The gods and the sages experience the infinite continuously and eternally without their vision being obscured at any moment. Their minds are surmised by the spectators to function, but in fact they do not. Such surmise is due to the sense of individuality in those who draw inferences. There is no mental function in the absence of individuality. Individuality and mind functions are coexistent. The one cannot remain without the other. The light of the self can be experienced only in the intellectual sheath. Therefore, vijnana of whatever kind, of the object or of the self, depends on the self being pure knowledge. In this dialogue, the sage talks about the nature of vijnana, or clear knowledge, shedding light on the dual role it plays, first in the context of self-realization, and then in the perception of external objects. Ramana Maharshi begins by saying that the term vijnana encompasses both the awareness of the self and the understanding of worldly objects. This distinction lies in the association with the ego. When linked to the ego, it manifests as objective knowledge, vijnana. However, when empty of ego and the absolute self is realized, it is also termed vijnana. Vijnana is knowledge, in one case objective knowledge, and in the other non-objective knowledge. Ramana emphasizes that the self-realized possess a pure and still mind that transcends constant activity of what he calls the vibrating mind. The dialogue introduces a paradox. The sage knows by the mind, yet the mind is pure. Ramana says that the pure mind is Brahman itself. The sage's mind is Brahman, knowing itself. The Mundakya Upanishad is referenced to say that the knower of Brahman becomes Brahman. The knower of Brahman becomes the self. The sage is Brahman. Ramana questions the idea of contemplation in the undivided state of the pure mind. Contemplation implies an object to be contemplated and a subject to contemplate. Ramana challenges the idea of contemplating the infinite when undivided, drawing an analogy with a river merging into the ocean. Can the merged river contemplate the ocean, which is what it now is? This, according to Ramana, should be understood as signifying the merging into the infinite rather than a contemplation with divided elements. The sage then explores the concept of self-illumination, saying that the self is inherently luminous. He says that the term I-illumination is an implied admission of mind function, the mind aware through the light of consciousness which it reflects. Ramana challenges the common perception that gods and sages have active minds, asserting that their continuous experience of the infinite occurs without pause at any moment. He attributes the perception of apparent mental functions to the observer's sense of individuality and emphasizes the inseparable coexistence of the ego and the mind. The ego and the mind rise and fall together. Ramana Maharshi weaves together these concepts to convey the profound nature of self-realization, the pure mind, and the interplay between subjective and objective knowledge. The dialogue encourages a deeper understanding of yourself and the nature of consciousness and the path to realizing the self. So inquire, know yourself, and be always free and at peace. These videos help bring Ramana Maharshi's teachings into your direct experience. Subscribe now